Midnight's Edge or anybody right now, but I had to jump in. Phoebe Waller-Bridge has been named to the cast of Indy 5. People are having a heart attack. I'm not gonna say who. More women, you know. I'm like, what's the big deal? We don't know what the story is. We have no idea what it's about. She could be playing his daughter. She could, I mean, the thing about Indy 5, and if you look at the women who came before her, for all we know, she could be the Tanya Roberts of his View to a Kill. Do you remember that? So why are we freaking out again? Hey, Scory. I think people are so conditioned to immediately freak out the moment they hear a woman is in a show that they have to have a fit. I'm not there yet. I don't understand that at all, to be honest. So I am going to just sit back and watch it. And the reason simply is this. I am one of those rare people that I don't mind Crystal Skull. I didn't care for Shia LaBeouf. I didn't really care for Karen Allen, and she isn't listed yet as being signed. And we all know that Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood got married at the end of Crystal Skull. I think that was sort of a the whole trope, the whole bringing her back was like, it was not what they should have done with her, I think. There were better options out there, I think, for that story, just that part. But I didn't mind the movie. If you know anything about George Lucas, he very much believes that there are other, they're not technically aliens, civilizations out there that likely we've been visited before. This is why you see, howdy, hey newbie. Oh, welcome aboard, man. Welcome aboard. The reason why we see so many references between Star Wars and Raiders and the Indy franchise isn't just because they're both George Lucas properties. It's because I think it goes along with his beliefs. Okay, so him exploring ancient aliens, and if you watch the History Channel, it is chock full of weirdos who talk about this stuff. Me, I'm not skeptical. I look at when we have a clear day here and you can actually see the stars. The East Coast is not a good place to sky watch. Hey, Seaman, it's not a good place to sky watch at all. Okay. If you go out west, like out to Wyoming, you will actually see the Milky Way. You will see how when you look up at the sky and see like this cloudy kind of vapor, that's star dust created by the rings of our own galaxy. Okay, that's the Milky Way. That's our galaxy. And we are in the outer rim of it. We are in a spiral galaxy, and we are way off on the edge of it. And we don't know what's in the middle of the core. Now they talk about black holes being in the middle, all this kind of stuff. And the ancient alien motif, I mean, you've got people who believe that, well, human beings certainly couldn't have built the pyramid. I disagree strongly, Bobby. I'm not here to follow the group on this. Because there's a woman in there? Oh, wow. Did that mean Raiders sucked because Karen Allen was in it? What about Temple of Doom? What about Last Crusade? What are you guys talking about? You guys are doing a knee-jerk reaction. Okay, I need more information. And I'm very sure that if it was going to be a woke shitfest, Harrison Ford wouldn't be part of it. This is his baby. This may be his last movie, okay? I'm not kidding either. This may be the last time you see him on the big screen in a new movie. All right? Anyway, but we don't, back to what I was talking about, we don't know what's in our own galaxy. I mean, we look at stars that are like, that thing is at 20 light years away. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. If it's good, watch it. Who gives a shit? The girl could be his daughter. You know, I mean, I had heard they tried, they were getting Brad Pitt for it too. Um, the L337, I'm sure Harrison Ford would really like to be upstaged by something like that. This is his movie. He gets the last say on the script. Nobody else does, not even Kennedy. Spielberg walked away. He's merely an executive producer now. So, all right. I mean, he doesn't have anything to do with writing the movie or anything else. Okay? This is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. But let's go back to what I was talking about. Okay? So, we don't know what's out there. We don't even really know what planets are circling suns like ours that are close by, that we could actually maybe figure out a way to get there and explore them. We don't know. The reason is this: we don't have the ability yet to look at those places very well. It's very, very difficult. Okay. But, there is a belief out there that human beings, we couldn't have possibly back then built the pyramids. But the ancient Egyptians came up with, geometry and things like that. Hey, Darwin, how you doing? Um, the ancient Egyptians knew the mathematical, and when you look at like the pyramids of Giza, and you look at the other pyramids, they got the red pyramids and there are other ones. Those other ones, I believe, are actually older than Giza. The Giza plateau, I mean, those things are huge. It seems to me like humans probably did some practicing. That, we need more proof. They have artwork of things that look like aliens showing up. It's like on, like hieroglyphics and like in Babylon and other places. And I think even in Aztec and, that kind of stuff. I don't want Indy to go on like that. I think they go and do an animated series. Oh yeah, they do. That's very true, Darth Deanna say. That is very true. The Romans devised something that no one else did. The Greeks might have used pure granite and marble. The Romans didn't have to. You know what they made? They created concrete. It's cheap. It's easy to build. And think about it. The Forum is still up. The Pantheon. The only reason why the Colosseum is kind of in a ruined shape is because people were taking stuff off of it to build in their own houses. They created concrete. Okay, it's cheap. It's easy. Their roads, the Roman roads that still exist, had the best drainage of any roads ever made. Okay, they were certainly not visited by aliens. Okay, the Greeks look at what they built. The Parthenon. They certainly were not visited by aliens. And if they could do all that stuff, the Egyptians were very well equipped to build pyramids. And the way the Giza Plateau is set up, you've got the Sphinx there. The Sphinx, I think, is far more fascinating than the pyramids. The pyramids are there in the shape of a of a cluster of stars, of 3 stars. They were looking up at the sky and said, those stars are aligned with these kings. I took Egyptology. This is one of my favorite things. Okay. Now, if they were visited, I'm not saying we weren't. I'm not saying that maybe some things that they were shown and taught, you know, um, I think you're right, Darwin. I do. Um, oh, I know. I know that. I know. I mean, you want to talk about the archaic period and how the Egyptians came up with mummification? I'm going to talk about that till I'm blue in the face. I did papers on it. Um, and trust me, the mummification process is gross. It's really, really, really gross. See, that's cool, living near Hadrian's Wall. Bobby, we're not talking about SGWs, all right? I don't think Indy 5's can have anything to do with them. It's just, I don't know what it's going to be about. I mean, it could be about, well, no, what they did was they buried people in pits, came back, the bodies were mummified. And they took what they called natron, which is a salt kind of thing, and realized they could preserve bodies. Now, it was gross. I mean, I've seen King Tut's treasures. When I was a kid, my mom took me to Chicago, the Field Museum, to see them. They had these alabaster jars with the liver and the heart and the lungs and, you know, the brain. They would take a thing and stick it up through the nose and swish the brain around and pull it out. All right. If you haven't had lunch or breakfast, I'm sorry, but they would do that. And everything had a ritual. You had, the priest dressed up in Anubis costumes with masks on, it was very ritualized. Yeah, I saw his mask. I saw Tutankhamun's mask. I saw it for real. And there's still no way. In fact, some idiot curator at the museum in Cairo tried to shine the mask up and they ruined it. They don't know how they did it. And it's like, ah, you know, everything was very ritualized. The Egyptians were less involved in gods and goddesses than they were magic. Oh, Akhenaten. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, his wife Nefertiti. Her bust is in the Egyptian Museum in Charlottenburg in Berlin. I went and saw that too. It's like she could get up and walk up and say hi to you. That's how realistic, and it's a practice bust. They made practice busts that looked very realistic. I would say they don't like to say this, but I would say when I was a kid, the archaeologists thought that he was the son of Queen Kia, one of the lesser queens. But in retrospect, when you look at his mask and he's got that fake beard on, that came from a different mask. And I'm positive that the pharaoh Smenkhkare was Nefertiti or Nefertiti. She changed her name, and because I'm going to say this right out, Akhenaten, I think, was probably had a lot of health issues. If you look at the way he had himself portrayed in art, he had a very slack belly, a really weird looking face. When you look at the realistic images that they brought out of Tutankhamun's mummy, you could see he was inbred, that his parents were related. And if that's the case, Nefertiti and Akhenaten were either cousins, very close cousins, brother and sister, or they presented her like that. But when you see that bust, it's with the blue cap. I mean, when they walked in to that workshop in Tel Amarna, they were, I mean, had the shock of their lives. And they, you guys heard about the DNA tests they gave Tut, right? Zawi Hawass, the minister of antiquities in Egypt, tried his very best to hide this. Tutankhamun had mostly white blood. He was mostly black Celt, which means Mediterranean, which means Spanish, and he means Spanish, which means Italian, Greek. And of course he was inbred, so, it's very interesting to me, that whole thing. And of course, there's a queen that they found, a woman with very long hair. No name, just there. Yeah, he was inbred. He was very, Tutankhamun was very inbred. And some archaeologists think that might be Nefertiti. Might. There's no way to prove it. You could do it, if there's DNA possible, you could probably do a DNA test on her and Tutankhamun to see if there's any relationship. Yeah. But they were mostly, the pharaohs at the time, the Egyptians weren't black Africans, they weren't North Africans, they weren't Arabs, they were white. Okay, how does this happen? Well, think about it. People migrated all over the Mediterranean. It's not that big of a body of water, and you can go from place to place to place all around the perimeter. Okay, not that big of an area. But Zawi Hawass lost his shit. Now, if you look at Egyptians today, and you don't start asking about Arabs and North Africans and black Egyptians and all the rest of the stuff to any Coptic Christian from Egypt, because they get pissed. They are very, very, very insistent that they are the true Egyptians. I talked to one guy and I was like, I'm sorry I said anything. But they're very mixed mash. In Egypt has always been a crossroads of cultures. If you remember the story of Christ, Moses, after he had the dream of Herod's armies coming to kill the babies, he took Mary and the baby and ran to Egypt. And they stayed there till Christ was like 6 or 7. And they came back to Nazareth. There's a huge Jewish colony there. The Romans showed up long before that. So Egypt is very much one of those countries that's kind of a melting pot. You don't really get that sense from a lot of other places in the Middle East, but it is a melting pot. It really, really is. They still have many different cultures living there, which is why when a few years back, when that crazy dude took over, and with the blessings of the the Greeks showed up. Alexander showed up, and it was part of the Greek Ptolemaic dynasties then. Well, I mean, Cleopatra. My favorite is Cleopatra was black. It's like, no, she was Macedonian Greek. She was black. No, she wasn't. And even if she was technically partly Egyptian, that doesn't mean she was black. Because if you watch, oh, Gruntilda, hi, how you doing? If you watch even Raiders of the Lost Ark, North Africans don't all look alike. Okay, again, there's all kinds. I mean, these people are also the ancestors of the Carthaginians. Oh yeah, we do. But what I'm saying is Tutankhamun's and his family were white. They were Mediterranean. They were black Celt. And it's really interesting how they developed their cultural beliefs. But, when you look at like the mummy of Ramses II, Ramses the Great, first off, he's got straight hair dyed with henna, and it's red. And second of all, I don't see a black man. I see a white man. Okay, I see a Caucasian. Look at the way his face is shaped. Hey, green man. It's very interesting to me. So, anyway, but going back to this indie casting news, I don't care. Why wow, there's a woman. Where were you guys 40 years ago when Raiders came out? Be 40 years ago, she was, yeah, she was Macedonian Greek. You know, where were, hey Dave, how you doing? When Raiders came out, when we had Marion, who cares? Macedonian, haha. You know, these are the things that drive me nuts about people. This is why the guys on Midnight's Edge were talking about this. Okay. Yeah, they were Phoenician, but where did the Phoenicians come from? They were migrants all up and down the Mediterranean. We really don't have, do we have any of their skeletons? Can we look at their DNA? See, these are the things we need to ask. I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, if you have the 18th dynasty, you have the 17th, 20th. You know what I'm saying? Ha ha, Gruntilda. So I'm like, I can't. I don't. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? But as far as this casting news, let's just kind of sit back and just kind of relax, okay? We don't know really where all this is going. We really, really don't. So let's just, but they announced that Waller, what is her name? Joanne Waller-Bridge is going to be in Indy 5, and the Phantom Menace is shitting themselves. I'm like, can you give Harrison Ford a break here? Yeah, but here's the deal. I don't want to go, oh my God, with, this when I don't know what the script is, when I don't know what they're doing. And the fact that, James Mangold is a pretty goddamn good director. Is she very woke? How woke is she? I don't know anything about her. In fact, I don't think I've seen her ever say anything. What does that even mean? I don't know. I don't want to accuse somebody of being that way unless I have. Oh, oh, wow. She voiced a robot. She must be woke. She read lines. Step back and think of how silly you guys are for saying that. All right? She's an actress. She's an actress. All right? She had to read lines for a shitty movie. Okay? And if you liked Soylo, A Soy War Story, I can't help you. It was a shitty movie. Okay, She polished the script for the new Bond film. Interesting. So she's a writer too. You know, I gotta say, Harrison Ford is the last word on this. And I don't see him going, we need more representation. I can't imagine him even going, what is that? I imagine him going, what are you talking about? You know, I can imagine him saying, if you honestly think that attitude helps making a movie, it doesn't. We're making a movie. We're not, this is an activism. Okay? You know, I think this is going to be really interesting. All right? I think it's going to be really intriguing what they come up with. And I trust James Mangold. I really, really do. Why? Here's a question. Where's the proof it's going to be woke? AF. I want someone to fucking show me the script. Do you have the script? Does anybody else have the script? They hired the woman who voiced L337. Oh my God, burn it down. You know? What are you guys talking about? You know, I literally am like perplexed right now. People constantly look for things to be pissed off about and to freak out about. I don't know how Ripley can respond to that. Let's talk about. Let's talk. When you find me the proof beyond an actress doing a voice for a shitty character, she had to read the lines. She was paid to do it. That it's gonna be woke. Then please make sure I see it, and I want legit sources. I mean, I'm not going to be. She did. And she's an actress that has to read. No, I want proof. I don't need to have a wager. You don't know it's going on. She's an actress that said stupid shit. Pedro Pascal's an actor that has said stupid shit. No one's complaining about Mando. You know, Mark Hamill is the king of saying stupid shit. You need to start separating yourself, the actor, from the character. Okay? And the fact that you're not giving Mangold or Ford any credit is really bad. Okay? Look at yourselves and think about that. What are you talking about, Sakori? What the Ripley thing, I don't know if I don't know how they can respond. If you guys went and listened and watched the Iden Paladin video about rewriting Ripley, it is massive. It is a very long. And the new smugglers can't. What are you talking about? No, there is no movie coming. What is this? Is everybody smoking dope today? My God. I'm going to think, because Deborah Chow is directing it and she's one of Favreau's people. And they redid the scripts because they were bad. How's this? I'm yawning right now, Gruntilda. Yeah, and you're really disrespecting both Ford and James Mangold. James Mangold is writing the script. Remember how good Logan was? Okay? Guy's a good director. Okay? I mean, he's a really good director. And give him a break. All right, give him a fucking break. Because I'm done with people being divisive. Oh my God, politics. We have to hate them because of politics. That's what the other side does. I don't do that. Like the other day, this kid from Entertainment Explorers, I don't know if you guys know what that is, did a hit piece on Star Wars theory, calling him a shitty person, calling Nick and Coach shitty people, drunk 3PO, etc. Because they didn't, I mean, the ultimate reason is they don't like the sequel trilogy. Kids in college. You want to see a shitty person. You want to see someone whose ass needs to be kicked. There you go. Right there. Okay? Right there. This kid. Guys at Echo Base did a video, and hopefully that kid will be on their show, and they'll be able to teach him some manners in a nice way, because I am getting my wooden spoon out. I want to spank him. I want to spank his butt till it's fire engine red. The reason why is this: the little bastard has never, ever had any discipline in his life. He doesn't know how to treat people. He thinks the fucking world revolves around his ass. You know, and it doesn't. I mean, I hate to tell him that. I don't care about him. I don't give a shit about him. He said shit about my friends. That pissed me off. Okay? That's where I am with this. And I'm literally like, I watched the video and I am so angry. I'm staying away from him. But if I get on Echo Base and he's on with me, I'm going to ask him, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You think you're that special? You can talk about people you don't know like that? Because they didn't like a movie? I mean, you know, you're in college. You're supposed to be learning critical thinking. Objectively, everything except for Mandalorian and Rogue One that Disney's put out there has sucked ass. Okay? That's an objective view. Ask anybody who isn't a Star Wars fan, who happened to be stuck having to watch those movies. These movies suck. They didn't bring more fans in. They drove fans away. The poor treatment that the fans received for daring to complain drove fans away too. It doesn't make us, quote unquote, shitty people, does it? No. You know what it makes us? It makes us people who don't like garbage. Now, if you like garbage, fine. But it's a set of movies that should have made sense in the universe, and they didn't. None of them did. They were garbage. They were shit. They were astronomical piles of shit. Okay. So this kid goes on there, and it's like, this kid I mean, life is going to come at him, and it's going to be relentless. Okay. Life is hard. Little spoiled rotten brat is going to find out, and it's going to suck real bad for him. Okay. Real, 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 real bad. And, you know, maybe the guys, because, you know, Coach is Coach. He mentors a lot of kids. Maybe he can help them. Maybe Nick can. But I gotta tell you something. The kid's mother, it's ultimately his parents' fault. He's probably a child of divorce. His mother probably made sure his dad was kept away, so everything is daddy's fault. Oh yeah, I mean, Star Wars Theory is a pretty cute guy. And he's a brick shithouse too, from what I can tell. You know? You know, this kid, you know, I'm making assumptions right here. He has daddy problems, daddy issues. He probably has mommy issues. He's probably spoiled. He's never had to face any real hardships in his life. And he's decided to take all of his frustrations and out. And I'm like, I'm like, I can't, you know, I can't figure out the psychological need for this. The kid's channel isn't very good. You know, this is the problem in a nutshell. When you've got a kid like this who's been obviously spoiled, he hasn't had any real relationship with any, he hasn't had any male mentorship or a male figure in his life to actually teach him how to be a fucking man. Are you even able to get through to him? These are questions that really need to be answered, okay? I'm telling you right now, these are the questions that desperately need to be answered, okay? So, anyway, it is 35 minutes in, and I just wanted to say, hey, you know what? If you're worried about Indy 5 being woke, I can't help you. But if you're going to disrespect Harrison Ford and James Mangold for absolutely no reason, that pisses me off. All right? That pisses me off. Absolutely no reason for it. She was probably what they were looking for and the best for the job. That's how people actually get jobs, okay? The best for the job. Who knows how many people actually auditioned? Okay, we don't know. All right. So, who knows? But it's going to be very interesting. To me, I'm looking at it and thinking it's probably going to be like A View to a Kill. All right. Tanya Roberts and Roger Moore didn't get it on in that movie. She was just this beautiful blonde that was kind of stuck going most of the time. So, anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna go. I just want to do a short video and kind of rant a little bit. Because if you noticed, I'm actually uploading videos has slowed down, and it's not because my system is screwed up anymore. It's because I don't want to go off the rails anymore. I don't want to put stuff out there just to get angry clickbait. You know what I'm saying? I think people need to stop doing that. This is where the fandom menace gets into trouble. This is where, all of a sudden everyone's ranting about the same thing. It's like, oh, I know she will be. I know she'll be in the new Bond movie. Who knows what this movie's gonna end up being. I have hope for it. Okay, to be honest, I have hope for it. I mean, I seeing Harrison in the fedora, this might be the last movie he ever does. Okay, now I know he's got a show developing for Netflix that looks like a really kind of a scary show. But I want you guys. I'm not worried about her. Look, here's the deal. I've said this before. If Ford, I don't think that way about this. I really, really don't. I think that's going to be fine. Because I've got an interview with him from when he was doing the PR for Blade Runner 2049, and he right during the interview, Messenger showed up and dropped off a script for Indy 5. So this script has been out there bouncing around, I think, since 2012. The movie should have been made and out in 2017. Okay? That's when it should have been done. And that should scare everybody. But well, I think you're right, Trencher. I was gonna leave, but I'm not yet. I think the thing about it is, I've always said this. I'd like to talk to him about Han, because in my opinion, and I think it's a pretty educated one, if he hadn't played Han Solo, he never would have gotten Indiana Jones. He owes that character a lot. Maybe he's watching right now, but he owes Han Solo his career. Okay. And what was allowed to be done to that character in TFA is criminal. People should be in jail for it. Not him, just that useless fart. He doesn't hate Han. Why do people keep saying that? You know, he's never said that. Ever. All right? There's a lot going on here. What was going on when they first made the movies? During the production of Star Wars? Anyone think what was going on in his personal life? Might that have something to do with it? Maybe. Maybe there's some memories he'd rather not have. Guys are funny that way. Okay. I mean, let's put it this way. If he hated Han so much, why did he show up to the 40th anniversary of A New Hope and Star Wars Celebration? No one expected him, and there he was. I want you to think about that. No hate for that character. He didn't. There's something about that. And it didn't help that you had Larry Kasdan there, who is a good writer. Well, yeah, and I gotta say, when they were talking about it, Lucas put his foot down and said, no, you're not gonna do that. I don't like, I mean, and he was right. It's so hard to watch a movie when about 3/4 of the way through, one of the main characters that you fell in love with died. You know, I mean, and he was right. But Larry Kasdan, who thinks the world of his own writing, had other ideas. And it's like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Please stop right now. And the reason why, well, I don't know why. I don't know why. I think a lot of people out there that aren't really into Star Wars, they just know him from Star Wars, just look at him that way. And he, I think, felt kind of trapped, maybe, in that sort of genre. But I gotta say, 80 years ago, if he'd have walked onto the lot at Paramount or MGM, he'd have gotten roles like that. He'd have been in every Western, probably with John Wayne. The reason why is this: he fits those characters. He fits the you know, when you see guys charging up the beach in Normandy, he played. You know, you could see him as one of the lieutenants or one of the captains, naval officer, you know, U.S. Air Force aviator. You know, that rugged, dependable, handsome American guy. And, you know, we were talking yesterday during the podcast I was on that Han Solo is necessarily the man with no name. You know? And that's the thing. I had looked at him and said, okay, first off, I don't want to do this. I really, really don't. This is really fucking pissing me off that you keep doing this. I don't know why. The big argument, development, shut up. Shut up right now. This is what's going to happen. You're in till the end of episode 8. Okay? That's what you signed for. And sit there and cry me a river. Because we're going to, what I would have done is I would have filmed episode 7, and right after that, we'd have gone right into 8. Okay? And I would have had, it would have been, well, my ideas are a hell of a lot different. Okay? But the whining, bitching, and complaining, and you guys do that as well as anybody. You've never heard a man complain till it's a Marine, by the way. Shut up. I don't want to hear it. We're making a movie. These fans don't want that. You know, I mean, the fans don't want it. Okay, and he himself said last year, or was it 2 years ago, you have to give the fans what they want. Yeah, and there's, I would have absolutely, if I'd have seen that, I'd have marched right into Larry Kasdan's office before Ford ever saw it and said, if you don't fucking fix this, if you and JJ and that, um, you know, if you and JJ don't fucking fix this, we're going to have problems. All right? We're not going to see Mark until like, what, the last 30 seconds of the movie? What the fuck is this? All right? We have to have some emotional. Shut up. Here, you want emotional? Now I'm emotional. Okay, now I'm pissed. That would have been me. They would have fixed it. They would have fucking fixed it. Why? Because I would demand it happen. Okay, I would have said, look, I'm going to go to Bob Iger. They don't fix this. I'm going to Iger, and then we're really going to have problems. Okay? Fix it. They didn't have anybody to do that. They didn't, I mean, when you've got, yeah, I mean, the man with no name, Ethan Edwards in The Searchers. And it's really interesting to me. I mean, The Searchers is actually one of George Lucas's favorite movies. Think about it. I mean, that was one of the movies that really, really spoke to him and helped him develop a lot of these characters. So what we had to contend with, and I told, and it was really funny. Dee Dee was like, but I liked it. And I go, it was lazy writing. But it looks so pretty. It's like, that's not the point. Star Wars fans need good stories. And despite all the upset about 1 through 3, they were good stories. They were really, really good stories. 4, 5, and 6 were amazing. 7, 8, and 9, fucking dumpster fires. Okay, they never should have been made. If you're not going to do it right, pay off Carrie, Harrison, and Mark. Give them, pay up their contracts, and release the cast. Because you guys suck. This is shit. No one told them that. It was written by committee, not by a good writer. Larry Kasdan, I mean, talk about a guy who's lost his... But anyway, this is how... Oh, The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, but you want to know what? Lee Brackett wrote most of it. Then she died. Kasdan took over, and George Lucas was like this. And him and Irv Kirshner were over saying it like this. Every word dipshit Kasdan put on there got a good look. Then Kasdan went and did Raiders of the Lost Ark. And guess who was standing over him watching that? George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. All right. There you go. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm making German pork hocks. I got fresh pork hocks. It's the first time I've seen them anywhere. Got them from my butcher shop. And I've got to get them ready for their last kind of hurrah. They're covered in a thing. They're starting to smell really good. And I'm going to make spätzle and sauerkraut because my husband's like, I want meat because Lent is over. And I'm like, okay, fine. And I had these, so I'm going to do it. And I've got a bottle, you're going to love this. I've got a bottle of French wine. But I'm putting this into the pan with the hocks. Lee Brackett wrote most of Empire Strikes Back. And then Kasdan went in, and the movies. When you look at the development of all these scripts, they all kind of have a way of going through a lot of changes. Okay. Uh, and that was the problem with Disney Star Wars, is that they didn't have a plan, and every time they changed something, it didn't make sense because they didn't have a plan. So they do one part of the movie, and then the other thing doesn't make any sense. You understand this how they did it, and the other movies don't make any sense with it. I mean, it's like 3 different movies that have no connection to each other. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm sorry I got a little bit. My feathers ruffled, but I really, really don't like it when we don't know what people are saying or what people are really thinking. So no, it was for Old Red Deck Nerd and others, Cinedave and Grintilda. I mean, you guys are great. I love my subscribers. It's just I get really heated because I'm very protective of these guys, of Harrison and Carrie and Mark. Even Mark was a dipshit. And the reason simply is this: they mean a lot to me, and we don't really know what's going on. We can speculate and all that, but you can't really say somebody is something or does something because there's a rumor out there or whatever. Okay, anyway, I gotta go, and I will see you guys around the galaxy. If something happens today, I'll be back on.